Welcome back. It is still Afrosport now in focus. Manchester United have announced the sacking of their manager, Erik Ten Hag, after 2.5 years in charge of the club. There was a lot of talk around him getting sacked at the end of last season after United picked up the FA Cup after beating league champions Manchester City in the final. He indeed was given a stay of execution and in fact handed a 1-year extension on his contract, which at the time made it look like United had chosen to stick with the manager. But following their 2-1 loss to West Ham United over the weekend, the United board have now unanimously decided to part company with their Dutch manager. So Erik Ten Hag is no longer United manager. To discuss the sacking of the United manager with me, a quick look at his Premier League record: 85 matches, 44 wins, 14 draws, 27 losses. And the amount of goals he scored during Erik Ten Hag's 123 doesn't look like a bad return. When you look at the number of goals conceded, then it puts it into a perspective. He did win the 2 titles, the League Cup in his first season and the FA Cup in his second. To discuss the sacking of Erik Ten Hag by Manchester United, I've got director here at Afrosport with me, Deji Omotoibo. And Deji, the first thing that comes to mind is it was almost like an inevitable thing that was going to happen at some point.
That's the word.
But every time we thought it would happen, he seemed to somehow convince the board to let him stay.
Results. You know, he never really saw that he handled 120-something games. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was a period where Erik Ten Hag put together 5 to 10 match unbeaten run or positive results. And football is a business of results. As a big club like Manchester United used to success, I was inevitable except the results improved. Unfortunately, it was fits and starts. You know, one good result, a couple of bad results, and eventually, like you said, the word was inevitability. It was inevitable that will pull the plug or pull the trigger, and it's gone. So United, I felt the moment Ruud van Nistelrooy was appointed assistant manager, I told a couple of people that I felt that was like they put somebody in there that if they needed to sack Ten Hag, they just slide him up to the interim position so the transition will be smoother. So I feel that appointment, even though people are saying it was Ten Hag, that appointment was made with the intention of, in case we need to sack Ten Hag, there's somebody who might be able to fill the void, at least on a temporary basis.
Does it though look like almost during the Mourinho time when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took temporary charge? He wasn't supposedly supposed to be the United manager, but he put a bit of form together and got the job. Is there a clear plan of what the guys at board level at United, Ineos Group, we heard that they sounded out a lot of managers in the close season about taking the United job. Is it almost like the Carsley situation with England, where we're not going to really talk about a new replacement just yet? We're going to let the interim guy take the reins for a bit.
The thing is, when you sack a manager mid-season, especially when there's a game, you need to replace him quickly. So I felt that the plan was put Van Nistelrooy there, maybe if we need to sack him. But having said that, I feel that there's been a reluctance to sack him because of the financials. You're going to have to pay him off because his contract is not over, and then you have to bring in somebody in. If that person is high profile, you are going to have to pay through. And
if he's in a job, you have to pay compensation.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I felt there was a reluctance to say, hey, let's hang with this guy. And then I think the new Ineos team were like, look, let's continue this sacking and hiring and firing. Let's see what happens. But I felt that the FA Cup win, with the manner of the win, with the quality of the opposition, I think that gave me a stay of execution in the summer. And of course, they backed him in the transfer market. I mean, got 4 or 5 really decent players at top dollar, and you expected results to improve. But hey, the results haven't improved. 14th position in the Premier League, 8 goals scored in 9 matches for United, and then they are 21st, I think, in the UEFA Conference League with 3 draws. The results were just not good enough, and at the point, no matter how patient you are, you're going to have to pull the plug because you wonder. United are same points above relegation zone, same points to 4th place. So it was becoming a bit dangerous not to act. But having said that, though, I just felt that down the years, you mentioned about the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation. Down the years, I hate to mention it, but I'm going to mention it. Down the years, until United got a team in place now, where there's a sports manager, there's a football manager, and all of that. United were handled both on the commercial and the footballing side by one man, Ed Woodward. And I think that's what was, sorry to say, for the rot in United, because while he's a good business person, he wasn't a football person, but he handled the football side for so long. You talked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in as an interim manager. The moment he put a string of results together, he was supposed to be interim till the end of that season. He put a string of results together, you confirmed him. So you were stuck with him. So I felt that a lot of bad decisions were made because Ed Woodward was handling the football side, which I didn't think he was equipped for. And a lot of rot in United, that's the root cause of it, actually, in my view.
You said something that was very important, the difference, the gap between Chelsea, United and the relegation places and United and the top four. If you put it in context, they play Chelsea next weekend. If United beat Chelsea, because they do have a decent record against Chelsea, they'll be just 3 points behind Chelsea, who everyone is saying are having a good season. So in that context, you still think maybe Ten Hag could have been given a little bit more time?
Well, I think what's happened is that, for instance, if the West Ham game is a game United should not have lost, even considering the controversial penalty, it's a game that should have been wrapped up in the first half. If they had done that, they would have gone to 14 points and it wouldn't look so bad. But I feel that what's happened is that there's no consistency. One good result, one bad result. A very good result against Brentford last week. Second half was very good. Performance was very good. Then the performances are not consistent. Then you watch what happened against in the Fenerbahce in the UEFA Nations League. Then this one, first half was very good, chances created. Second half, all over the place. So I felt that they felt that things were not going to change in terms of performance consistency and results consistency. And they decided to pull the plug. So I agree with you. Even if they had won the West Ham, it wouldn't have looked so bad. You never know what's going to happen with Chelsea. It wouldn't have looked so bad. Even in the position they're in, they put up a few results
together.
But there's no history of that. Over its 2.5 years, there's not been a period where Ten Hag's team put up 5, 7, 10 game unbeaten run, all positive results. And I think that's why they pulled the plug.
You talked about something which was very important, the Ed Woodward scenario. And ever since he was taken out of that United equation, there's been talk about the fact that United don't particularly have a structure. And the Ineos group were supposed to bring back that structure.
They've tried to do that.
So it was said that Erik ten Hag had basically done miracles at United, working in a system that was very chaotic. And when some semblance of a structure finally came, you felt maybe he could have given a little bit more time? He's not a bad manager, is he, Ten Hag?
For me, I will tell you that I still told someone this morning that I didn't think they were going to sack him. Because I felt their decision was that, look, let's see what happens this season. And if this season is like last season. But at times, in England, United fall for the media narrative. The media narrative over this man. And the English media like to pump their chest and say we were right. The English media narrative has been, he's too small for the job, he needs to be sacked and all that. Maybe the narrative got to the board, I don't know. Maybe the board is worried about, some of these sponsorship deals are dependent upon
performances.
Can you afford to miss 2 Champions League seasons back to back without having an impact on your bottom line in terms of sponsorship agreements and all of that? Maybe. But having said that, though, to be fair to Ten Hag, I personally don't rate his period as a disaster. I think it's decent. He's won 2 trophies, whether people like to downplay that, but United didn't win anything for 6 years. Since 2017, he came, he won a trophy in 2023, he won a trophy in 2024, and he beat quality opposition in those finals. It was Newcastle, it was Man City, no less. So, at the end of the day, I don't think his result is that bad. It just appeared like maybe the job, the attention that the job brings. United is always one game away from a disaster, and the media frenzy, anything that goes wrong at United, the media goes into a frenzy. Any bad result, any bad situation, the media goes into a frenzy. And I felt at some point that got to him. The situation with Ronaldo didn't help. Situation with Jadon Sancho was also there. Media kept pushing the narrative. He couldn't handle. The job was too big for him and all of that. But in terms of results, I think from what we've seen, the result will have been maybe 50-something% win rate. He can beat his chest and say he won 2 trophies. You guys didn't win 6 trophies. Any trophy was 6 years before I came and all of that. But 8th position last season by United standards was very bad. And it doesn't look like the way it is now, except United are able to put up a terrific run of results. It does look like Champions League is getting out of hand. Who knows? But you still never can tell. It's only 9 games into the season. So I just felt combination of media frenzy, media narrative, and the fear that the concern that we don't think the results will get better. The consistency will be found. I think that's what caused the sack.
Welcome back. It is still Afrosport Now in Focus. We've still got Deji Omotoyibo here with me. Let's move on very quickly as we wrap up. For United, a lot of names have been bantered. Thomas Tuchel will probably feel he shouldn't have taken the England job. But unfortunately, he is no longer in the running.
I think it's a more sensible job for him to take. United is chaotic.
There's Xavi in there. There's Thomas Frank. There's talk of Julian Nagelsmann, the German coach, because of that clause in Jurgen Klopp's deal with Red Bull, which says that he can leave the job to be Germany manager. Well, Nagelsmann has not made it a secret that he would love to return to club football at some point. Maybe United may not be that club. But for United, where do they head? Do they stay English? They stay with a Premier League proven manager?
It's very tough to see which direction United will go. I know a lot of these names have been bandied, but the United job, beyond your abilities as a coach, you have to have emotional strength or emotional, a strong mentality, let me put it that way, to cope with all the all the media frenzy around United. You've got to have that. And I think it got to Jose Mourinho.
As experienced as he is.
As experienced as he is. I've definitely got to Ten Hag. Didn't so much get to David Moyes, who was experienced in the situation. It got to Louis van Gaal. So it's like touch and go. You've got to have somebody who, because there's no manager in the world. Jurgen Klopp, when he came, the first couple of years was bad. He kept losing finals, but it wasn't as bad as it was a United manager. Same thing with this man that took over. Same thing with, what's his name now? Okay, let me just continue. If I remember the name, I'll mention it. So the United job comes with, it goes beyond your ability as a coach. Every little decision you take is going to be scrutinized. You put a player on the bench, it's good, like it happened with Sancho, it's going to be scrutinized. So you have to be ready to take all of that on board, beyond only the football. I know a lot of managers, if they have a choice, they won't do press conferences because it can be very irritating, it gets on your nerves and all of that. And like I said, United is a balloon waiting to be punctured at any point in time. So,
who would your personal choice be, though?
I honestly don't have a personal choice. I honestly will say, let's see what Ruud van Nistelrooy comes up with till the end of the season. Let's give him a chance till the end of the season because nobody should expect results to change immediately. Let's see what comes with the end of the season. If you have an interim manager that does well, then hey, it saves you a whole lot of stress, you know. So I would say for now, give him the job till the end of the season. And then you have more time to consider your options, to weigh all the possibilities, to look at the emotional stability and strength of whoever you want to bring in, the ability to cope with the baggage, quote unquote, that managing United comes with. So it's going to be a decision that they can't rush, and I don't think they should take a decision mid-season. So Van Nistelrooy, hopefully he will do well. Let him stay there till the end of the season. And he must also, if he does well, should be one of your candidates because he's handled, I mean, he's won a league title before too. So let's
for Erik Ten Hag, though, he's not a bad manager. What do you think he
No, he will get a job somewhere else. I can bet you.
Do you think he has the clout because he's been former United manager to get one of the top jobs?
He might. You never can tell. You know, these days, clubs look for managers who have handled big clubs. That's why there is a coterie of managers who are the top managers. Tuchel, Guardiola, Pochettino, the Madrid manager,
Carlo Ancelotti.
There is a select few that most big clubs feel these are the ones I can handle. So you might not get a top club like that, but maybe mid-level club in England, in Germany, in France, maybe Italy.
United might. Do you think United can't go young like everyone seems to be going nowadays?
The job is too big. You must have a lot of experience on your hands. You must be able to cope with so many things. I think it's a job that will drown a young manager. That's my personal opinion. I think you need somebody with a bit of experience and somebody with a bit of, belligerence in terms of you're not bothered about all the side talks.
All right.
Just focus on what you're doing. But
All right.
the moment your results don't go your way, as a United manager, you are in for it.
All right. Thank you very, very much for coming through. Adejomoto, you were there talking about Manchester United.